What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Zombie Fried Chicken Show, where we're coming at you with the top 10 funniest zombie movies of all time. I'm your host, Alvaro Gorilla, and this is Robbie D. Now, Robbie D, why should they watch our review?
The reason you guys want to watch this review is because a lot of the other reviews out there for top 10 funniest zombie movies, they're reviewing movies that actually are not funny, they're just campy. So we decided to put our own 2 cents out there for you so you know which ones are actually funny.
Coming in at number 10, The Dead Don't Die. Directed by Jim Jarmusch in 2019, The Dead Don't Die is an interesting curveball of a movie that never shies away from making fun of itself for being what it is, a textbook zombie movie. Featuring an all-star cast of Hollywood heavy hitters, this movie carries a unique spice of dry, self-aware humor that may or may not connect with viewers as it did with us, but regardless, the performances of Bill Murray and Adam Driver charmed us ever enough to push the film to at least number 10 on the list. The Dead Don't Die. Now this is a different flavor of comedy than probably what we're all used to, but for us, I thought it was unique, you know, like it matches Bill Murray and I keep calling him Kylo Ren. Adam Driver's, like, it matches their style. It's kind of like a dry sense of humor.
It's got a really dry sense of humor.
Yeah, and they keep breaking the fourth wall and they're making fun of the fact that it's a zombie movie. Bill Murray goes, how did you know this would end up badly? And he goes, I read the script.
Yeah, to me, the movie was really all about the actors. It was more about their portrayal of each scene in the scenario than it was even about a zombie movie, in a weird way. I mean, we're talking about a all-star cast. Danny Glover, Adam Driver, Bill Murray, Steve Buscemi, even Iggy Pop is in this movie unexpectedly as a zombie. I mean, that in itself, for those, I know a lot of you younger guys out there, you probably wouldn't know who Iggy Pop was, but he was like this out of control rock star, punk rock dude from like the 80s. And to see him as a zombie now is just like, it's just hilarious. It's perfect.
Just love it, Adam Driver's ghouls. You know. Ghouls.
Oh, and there's a funky surprise at the end. Like it definitely doesn't end the way you guys are gonna expect it to end.
At number 9 on the list, we have Freaks of Nature. Directed by Robbie Pickering in 2015. Now, while not necessarily a strictly zombie movie per se, we've come to the conclusion that it is zombie enough. In a town where zombies, vampires, and humans live in a fragile harmony, the town is invaded by, yep, you guessed it, aliens. That is logically the next step, right? As you can probably tell just by the premise alone, the movie is outrageously campy, but it is done pretty tastefully, or as tastefully as you can make a high school zombie vampire alien movie, focusing on the values of love and friendship. Regardless, Freaks of Nature is very, very entertaining and more than deserving of a place on our list. So what did you think of Freaks of Nature?
Well, I was really, really impressed, to be honest, because I thought that the director had really kind of like a clear vision of like, we're gonna make this campy, we're gonna make it appeal to teenagers, but we're gonna do campy like bigger and better than anybody's ever done campy before.
Yeah, it's like straight up. This is probably the only exception on the list where we accept super campy, but only because that was the purpose of the movie. They wanted it to be like super
and unexpected.
Just completely off the rails. There's like 20 minutes in, like there's like this huge brawl with zombies and vampires just butchering each other, and all of a sudden aliens start abducting people. It's wild. It's like pure like popcorn.
There's like 10 times in the movie where you're just gonna be like, are they kidding? Seriously?
Yeah. Number 8, Anna and the Apocalypse. Directed by John McPhail in 2018, Anna and the Apocalypse is a one-of-a-kind for certain, being possibly the only zombie musical ever made, ever. Yeah, that being said, the acting is super silly as the movie revolves around the fact that they are literally singing while butchering the undead. Its absurd and goofy nature just demands the audience's laughter as they merrily hack and slash through an Oscar-worthy collection of songs that might just have you singing along by the not-so-Hollywood ending.
Okay, Enemy of the Apocalypse. Now, Enemy of the Apocalypse, when you see the trailer, or when I saw the trailer at least, I thought High School Musical and zombies. I mean, that's interesting. But when you go to see it, it's exactly that. It's High School Musical zombie mode. And it's super goofy. I mean, they're singing along, slashing zombies. Dude, it's crazy. Like,
They really did a good job with that though, because you know you could say that it's like on the level of like a Broadway show, you know, and it's also got that British dry sense of humor.
They had me sing along with me.
That's unique in itself, at least to us Americans, the American audiences. But it was just so unique and so fresh, and for what it was, they did such a good job. They made it funny.
Oh yeah, some of these songs, man, they
That
should get
it's
Oscars.
yeah, you gotta see
They
it.
got the Oscars for some of those. I was singing along by the end, especially the last song.
He was dancing too. Like he was,
Shut up.
At number 7, Zombieland 2. Directed by Ruben Fleischer in 2019, Zombieland 2 is a great addition to the zombie genre and an epic ride all on its own. Although not nearly at the same status as the original, it still retains plenty of the original's magic. After 11 years in the making and being delayed several times due to other projects, Zombieland 2 finally clawed its way to the surface. Better late than never, right? Definitely worth watching if you're a fan of the first, as the movie was clearly made for the Zombieland fans.
Zombieland 2, it was awesome. Make no mistake about it. Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, and the girl, forgive me, I can't remember her name. We'll put it like right.
just think, big budget, Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone. Comedy is first. It's more comedy than anything. But mix that formula with Dead Rising, and you got Zombieland 2. A must-see for sure.
Number 6, Warm Bodies.
Nice watch.
Directed by Jonathan Levine in 2013, Warm Bodies is a solid movie altogether, and probably the only one on the list that the whole family can watch due to the PG-13 rating. What it is a cheesy romantic comedy wrapped into a zombie apocalypse themed setting, led by Nick Holt, who me and my brother recognize as the legendary Mad Max dude. What a lovely day. The movie gives its own unique take on the zombie genre and accomplishes exactly what it wants to achieve. A good vibe story with a nice soundtrack and some decent laughs along the way, giving this film a solid spot on the list.
Robbie, what did you think of Warm Bodies?
Warm Bodies was absolutely a work of art. It was amazing. It wasn't funny all like through and through. I don't think it was really meant to be. It was kind of like a really well-made version of a Romeo and Juliet in a zombie world. But the reason why I particularly, I don't know about you, but the reason why I thought it was important to have it on the list is because there was a couple parts that just made me just die. And even if it was just a few parts here and there, I think that makes it worthy to be on the list.
Right. And the only reason you could really say, oh, it's not as funny as like this one or that one, is because it is a PG-13 movie, so they can't, drop F-bombs here and there. So I guess you could say, oh, they can't have raunchy comedy that us adults are used to. But nevertheless, it is definitely a work of art. It's awesome.
It's a top-rated movie for sure. John Malkovich.
And
Who else?
What a lovely day!
What a lovely day! Nick Holt from Mad Max. Oh my God, he is just awesome. Nick, you are badass. We love you. And he was really good in this movie too. He was just surprisingly good.
Before this movie, we only knew him as the Mad Max guy, admittedly. But seeing that he's in a zombie movie now, like, didn't know that.
I mean, he was such a god in Mad Max that like anything he's in, I want to see through because that guy is just badass.
Coming in at number 5, we have Fido. Directed by Andrew Curry in 2007, Fido is more than unique with its post-apocalyptic 1950s setting, where after a zombie invasion, humanity has enslaved zombies and employed them in various roles throughout society. The story revolves around a young boy and his family pet zombie named, yep, you guessed it, Fido. It's most definitely a movie worth watching if you're any kind of fan of the ZoMbiE genre.
First, I remember when I first saw Fido, I was really young, and I thought it was gonna be kind of a goofy, whatever. But they make the dirty zombie jokes.
Yeah, a personal zombie pet for whatever you want it for. I mean, how could you go wrong with that plot? I mean, they did that. They took that idea and they did it right. And as far as imagining all the craziest ways you could incorporate a zombie pet into your life.
The zombie, the dude next door had a little zombie boo-dang.
Oh god.
Yeah. Dude, every time she goes back inside, get back in there, he's got a cigar in his mouth, smokes her.
Yeah, and the first thing that struck me about that movie when I initially saw the review was the soundtrack. I mean, any zombie comedy movie that has the Ramones, I Want to Be Sedated in it, is they're on the right track right off the bat.
Oh, for sure.
I want to be sedated.
Number 4. Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. Directed by Christopher B. Landon in 2015. Make no mistake, this movie is wild from start to finish. From custom zombie killing to zombie cats to outrageously raunchy humor. The group of unlikely heroes really make for some big laughs on this epic ride through their freshly zombified town, along with bringing a few unexpected surprises along the way. With plenty of hilarious tricks up its sleeve, Scout's Guide easily flies up to top 5 status.
Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. What do you think?
Well, it was awesome. I loved it. It was like Superbad meets Dead Rising.
Definitely, that's a great comparison.
See, Dead Rising is like the secret spice, It's just taking a custom duct tape zombie weapon and just going to town. That's it's fun.
The Zombie Apocalypse, or Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, it kind of had that sense of humor, that Superbad sense of humor that was kind of geared towards young guys that are kind of having trouble,
Yeah.
in a lot of
trying
getting through school,
trying to be the big dudes on campus. It was really fun.
Number 3.
We're going to Norway.
Dead Snow 2. Directed by Tommy Wirkola in 2014, Dead Snow 2 was unarguably a vast improvement over the original, mostly catering to its newly found cult following it had amassed from its surprisingly entertaining predecessor. This time, however, much more comedy-focused, and dear God, it is much more bloody. The over-the-top violence mixes with its over-the-top comedy, giving it a unique flavor on its own, with some of the most wild and boldly unique ideas I've ever seen in the genre. Dead Snow 2 deserves its rightful place at number 3 on our list.
Dead Snow 2. Oh shit.
Dead Snow
That's all I
2
can say.
was epic.
Epic.
There's a reason we put it so high. A lot of people be like, well, what's Dead Snow 2? It was a Norwegian film, so that's probably why you didn't hear about it.
Unexpectedly.
I'll tell you what, that movie is probably the bloodiest, goriest movie on the list. And that's the thing, that's the secret to the comedy.
Zombies die and people die in this movie in the most horrific ways you could ever imagine. And it's so above and beyond that you just have to, I guess you have to laugh. I feel like a psycho, so you have to laugh.
Yeah, exactly. There's a scene in the movie where one of the zombies is actually siphoning gas for their tank through somebody's intestines. And it's
just you're just
and
the whole time
it's
you're
playing this
shocked.
goofy music the whole time, boom, 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 boom.
So to wrap this one up, I'd have to say above and beyond, so above and beyond that you just have almost like Monty Python back in the day when that knight got his arms chopped off,
scratch,
and he's like, it just want to scratch,
But trust us, there's a reason that it's number 3 on the list. Anyways,
it's pretty funny. It's a must see, and Dead Snow 1 2 must see, absolutely.
Must see. A little bit more on the horror side though.
Number 2, Zombieland. Directed by Ruben Fleischer in 2009, rule number 1, watch Zombieland. If you haven't heard of our last pick, you've surely heard of Zombieland. With a perfect casting, great writing, and a whole lot of bloody zombie action, Zombieland has been the gold standard for zombie flicks for years. Its most impressive feat is how it can make even the most serious or violent situations blend perfectly with top-tier comedy throughout the entire length of the movie. Seriously, never a dull moment here. Zombieland is usually the first one that comes to mind when you think of zombie comedy, which is why it is number 2 on the list.
There's a reason that Zombieland 1 is still so high on the list. When it came out, it was just so fresh. It was like, there was nothing else really like Zombieland, and even today, there's like, everybody's just kind of tries to copy it, or certain aspects of it. What did you think?
It was highly anticipated because it was I think it was really the first really big budget zombie movie that had like
Totally.
across the board incredible cast. So that alone is gonna, the writers are really gonna have to make sure it's funny when you have that sort of budget going into a movie.
And finally, for our number 1 pick, we have Shaun of the Dead. Directed by 2004 by Edgar Wright, Shaun of the Dead really needs no introduction. If you're a fan of zombie movies at all, you've probably heard of Shaun of the Dead. The British ZoMbiE, led by Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, is a certified classic and still holds up to this day. The comedy relies on the chemistry of its well-written characters and witty dialogue that just never gets old. The dynamic duo clumsily navigates through the horrors of a zombie invasion, giving way to some of the most hilarious and memorable moments of any zombie movie like ever. Seriously, Shaun of the Dead, number 1 pick by any means.
Number 1, Shaun of the Dead. If you know zombie comedy, if you've ever heard of a zombie comedy movie, you just type it in your Google search bar, you're gonna see Shaun of the Dead. Maybe Zombieland.
That's for a reason.
Yeah, maybe Zombieland, but Shaun of the Dead's always gonna come up, no matter what. Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, legendary comedy duo.
Just awesome.
Hot Fuzz, End of the World. What was that one they made? Paul. Those are all hilarious movies. You should check those out too.
I think
Shaun of the Dead.
I think it's fair to say that Shaun of the Dead really kind of launched those guys into stardom, and there's a whole bunch of movies that were produced kind of based around those guys, and I think it really kind of started for the most part of Shaun of the Dead. It was absolutely hilarious.
It was. That was the first movie.
It was. It really was. It really had the feel. It really had that British dark, dry, I like to say, humor, which in a zombie movie, it was kind of like a first of its kind. And it was really kind of more like an attempt to take the whole zombie apocalypse thing and kind of tie it into more of a real world feel, and with real world issues. And I think they really did a great job of achieving that real world.
It's kind of satire when you think about it, because there was a whole part of the movie in the beginning, whereas you can't tell the difference between your dry everyday life and a zombie that's just walking, lumbering around. That was kind of a big point of the movie. So it was so unique, and it still is unique today. So definitely, if you don't watch a single movie on this list, you should watch Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead, it really had kind of a feel, a comic approach that not very many other zombie movies have. Its humor was really unique in itself, and it's for zombie comedy, it's pretty fresh. You just gotta see it.
As for our honorable mentions, it would be a crime to not put in Santa Clarita Diet. It is a TV show, and again, that these were all movies, but honestly, if you like zombie comedy, it doesn't get much better than Santa Clarita.
You gotta watch Santa Clarita Diet. If you haven't seen it, it is absolutely hilarious. And the best thing about it, if you like the humor of the show as much as I do, there's 30 episodes, and you could just bam every night. When I started watching it, I watched probably 3 or 4 or 5 episodes per night. It's that funny. It's just the best writing ever. hilarious.
Unfortunately, it was canceled after 3 seasons by Netflix for some reason. If you have the time, it's definitely worth it, as much as any other of our top 10.
Hey, what's up? I'm here. Not today.
You forgot to mention
I did.
something.
Well, the Zombie Fried Chicken Show is top tier, S+++ tier comedy. It is possibly the greatest cinematic invention of our generation, and if you don't watch it, you're really
sure.
missing out on some of the most incredible stuff ever. All jokes aside, guys, you gotta check it out. That's on our channel. We put a lot of hard work into that, so we would be greatly appreciated if you would.
Look, I was a visionary of it and I edited it, so I promise you, I laughed my ass off editing that series. Episode 4 especially, oh my god, is hilarious. These guys get into a rap battle and it's just, oh my god. Just check it out and let us know in the comments below if you have any ideas for our show and maybe a little feedback, and thanks for tuning in.
All right, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Thanks for tuning into the Zombie Fried Chicken Show, and we will see you next time on the channel. Now, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed what you saw, and yeah, we'll see you next time.